Erica. Keep on the count. Gotta take it off with the timer. With the timing on it. It wasn't telling that at first. No, when it's on the screen, it's not supposed to take it. Let me be ready with this on that.
Hey.
Yay!
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Everyone good?
Everyone. Hey, okay. Doing okay.
Hey, Wawa. Hey, Charlene. We live.
We are live for real. We were live.
Yes, we are.
Can we hear Wawa?
Unmute. Yeah, we are definitely live and rocking.
I was here all along.
Yeah, that's a sound boy on me. I was here all along. He was here all along.
All right now, here all along. Happy Saturday. Happy Sabbath Day. Happy Black History Month, y'all. Yay. It's a great day. It's a beautiful day. I'm Wyoming.
I'm Peg.
No, Charlene.
And we are
4Sisters Live.
You know what, ladies? It's a wonderful day to be alive. It's a great day to be alive. In spite of what's been going on, it's like, what in the world is going on?
Everything.
What's really going on?
What's the new month? It's February.
Okay.
Heart Month.
Heart Month. That it is. It's Heart Month. Absolutely. And
Valentine's.
It's Valentine's. Oh yes, bring it on. What's up? What else, Peggy?
Come on, Come on, Charlene.
Oh, it's National Heart Month, right?
Yeah, we said that it's National Heart Month, and it's Black History Month, and Valentine's Day is coming up, and
birthday month.
People's birthday, but it's something else in February. I don't know.
Is it not President's Day coming or something?
Yeah.
It's something bigger than President's Day.
Speaking of President, okay, I'm not going there, but I am. So there's an impeachment of the second impeachment going. I hear second. Okay, there's a second impeachment about to happen next week, guys. So we know we have to gear up to understand where we are now in our world, in our country, how it's going to affect us, and what is about to happen. Ladies, y'all looking for? What do you have to say to that, Charlene?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I have a lot to say about that. So I think that we have one of the wisest. I think that President Biden is using wisdom. I love his wisdom. He said he's going to lead this to Senate as people try to, kind of nudge him to say, hey, what do you think about impeachment? President Biden has said, I'm leaving that to the Senate. And I think that was a very wise thing to do, being that, he couldn't make a full statement, and really just go there. But you know what? That's what I love about this world and this new cabin. They are exhibiting the intelligence and the poise and wisdom that we have desired to be demonstrated. Human kindness, okay, that people are worthy to be heard, and that we address them accordingly, and that we do not dismiss them, and that we don't attack them either. So I really appreciate the Biden administration and his partisan way of handling things. That's super important to me as a person who I'm bipartisan myself. I believe that we are in this world together to make it better for each other. We should not, by any means, demean any human being. I believe in human rights. I believe in human sanity, and it is our responsibility to be the voice for the voiceless. Okay, and that is what President Biden represents for me. He is the voice for the voiceless. And yes, we may not agree with everything that he does, and I don't agree myself personally with some policies, but that, you know what? The main part is that we can agree to disagree.
Disagree.
Absolutely. Yes. So what do you think about this, Linda? What's your take on it?
Well, I'm so glad we're back to civility. I'm so glad that we can talk to each other. We can disagree. I'm really proud so far of the way, the appointments. We'll see how they work out, but I believe in them because I believe that our new president has studied everybody and he knows exactly what we need. So I'm sad right now. I'm just waiting for these hearings and everything. Last week was a mess, but I'm glad that that senator, she was censored, and so therefore we don't have to worry about too much about her mouth. But the bottom line is life goes on, and let's move forward in a very positive mode. That's the most important thing. Let's move America. Let's feed the people. Let's make sure they have shelter. Let's make sure they have at least enough money to live on. That's most important. We got to take care of America.
Yes, we do. And that's what it's about, taking care of the people who voted you in.
Right.
Vote was our voice.
To take care of those, even if you didn't vote him in. And he's okay with that.
He's okay with
that. That's a class act right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he has experience. He had experience, and that's what
I am for America. I am for what's right, and that's what we need to hear. You don't have to agree with me, but guess what? We do have to do what's right by people. So that's what he demonstrates. I really appreciate what's going on. It feels really good in America right now, despite all the other things, like you said.
I have less stress, believe it or not.
I think a load has been taking off of us all, most of us. Yeah, I think so. And I believe that we're going to be the better for it. We just have to, again, I said before, just be patient. Let's get through this. Let's pray through this. Patience and prayer can get us through.
It's the key.
Yes.
It's the key. Do not be anxious for anything, because with prayer and supplication, all things are going to work out for the good. Come on, somebody.
That's why we can manifest something differently. And I believe we manifest these things by our thoughts and our words. And again, that's why we need a leader to say, you know what? I believe America is united. I believe that America is peaceful. And he has to keep saying that. And we have to say it together, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. We have to say that together and be harmoniously singing that same song. You know, I believe America is great. I believe America is so peaceful. I believe America, like, can you imagine? Because you manifest. See, we manifested what happened on January the 6th. That was manifested because we kept repeating that. And media, I want to give you a hint from Fox News to CNN, and all of you are responsible for this because you were manifesting as you was covering the news and saying these things out loud. We can stop a lot of this stuff that's going on, okay? America's already great, and America is so peaceful. America loves people. In America, we are the superpower. Sorry, people, but
absolutely.
Please don't get her started. My goodness.
Look, we're gonna have Charlene in the street. We're gonna have her in the street when it gets warmer. We're gonna have her in the street. Even now, we're gonna get Charlene out there. Yeah,
she needs that bullhorn.
Absolutely. She's gonna be in the street soon. We're gonna have her out there in the street talking and interviewing people.
She's gonna be the next president of the United States of America.
Or the VP.
Well, that's why I said bring the dirt now, honey, because I can handle it, honey. You need to dig up on me, honey, because I ain't even afraid of you. So come for it, because if President Trump can be a president, Shirley can definitely.
Well,
bring it, honey.
Well, we know that, again, we're going to see all things come together. And this is the unfolding of all the things that are to come, and so that's where we come in at as far as 4Sisters Live, because we're able to communicate. This platform is set up for us to deal with and communicate about the things that are happening right now in our world. And so I'm happy that we're together, guys. We said we will get through this together, and we're still together. We're still together. And that is what's so awesome about this. You don't have to be alone, and we're not alone. So I'm grateful. Hey, let's say hi to all of those who are joining us. Hello out there, you guys. Thanks for joining us. Share and like our page. Share and like our page.
Sharon is out there. Sharon,
our girl Kelly is out there. Terry Tabor.
Hi, Terry.
Sabrina is out there.
Robbie is out there. Yes.
Roma Rona is out there.
Hi,
We got some
Rona.
sisters
Hey, Rona.
representing.
Yes, say you
Sabrina.
all let us know how you feel about what's going on. You know, chat, talk to us, send some words. Amen. Yes, you got it. All good. Everything you want us to know. Chat with us. Conversate with. Today is the day we're going to have a conversation.
Yes.
We know today is our first Saturday of the month of February. You all know every first Saturday we talk about a subject that we all do not like to discuss, but we must continue to deal with it and talk about it because it can free someone, it can liberate someone. We are going to continue to be free. We're going to thrive. We're going to survive. We are going to just continue to be strong. It's courageous. Through all of this, we have to continue to talk about domestic violence, ladies. You know,
Yes.
every first Saturday is where we skipped last month because we were just starting back the show. But this is our first domestic violence for 2021. We have some awesome guests that's with us today that's going to come and they're going to share with us their points and views and their position on domestic violence. They are advocates. They're out there dealing with this. And we cannot continue to just, again, turn a deaf ear and not deal with it and act like it doesn't happen. It happens from the White House to the church house to your house. It's happening in the schools. It's happening everywhere. And so we're going to talk about some of the issues and the events that has been taking place. And speaking of events that has been taking place, did you all hear about the NFL player?
No,
Yes.
what happened?
What?
We're going to get to that. I'm going to talk about that. But before we get there, I definitely want to acknowledge, guys, before we get into the conversation with that, I want to be able to pay homage, and we pay homage to our sister, our mother, our queen, who recently just went on and transitioned as Cicely Tyson, the legend of herself. Can't go another further unless we salute her and honor her for her life and for her legacy that she has given us through the years. I'm telling you, the lady was just a class act.
Class act.
Just a class act, you know. And so I wanted to make sure we acknowledge that, as well as, did you all hear about the lady that that is going to be the CEO, I believe? What's her name? I have her name here. Rosner Brewer. Did you all hear about
I saw
her?
that.
Yeah, she was with Starbucks, and now she's going to be with Walgreens. She's going to be the CEO. Yeah, so we salute the sisters.
Yay.
The sisters. We're talking about sisters who are making it happen. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
You know, CEO, president, running and ruling and carrying on the Walgreens, from Starbucks to Walgreens. I mean, come on, you know. So we're acknowledging all these sisters. We're going to salute her. We're going to salute another sister. Did you all hear about a young lady named Jennifer King?
Yes.
No.
The new first Black, female, NFL
She's
coach.
a coach.
The Washington team, I believe, right?
It's I can't remember the team.
Yeah, I think it is the Washington team.
You think so?
Have her. Okay. I think it is. Someone correct me out there, but I believe
because I wrote it down and I don't have it with me.
It's the Washington. Yeah, I think Dante's the Washington team. Yeah.
Okay. It's the Washington football team. They promoted her to assistant running back coach on Tuesday, making her the first Black woman to become a full-time coach in the NFL. Good God.
I'm telling y'all, we talk about the year of the women and the Black women.
Lift them up.
Look, come on now. We do not have to go talk about eating babies, the blood, what didn't happen, affected. What is going on? The conversation is just crazy. And this is why we're going to salute our women, our Black women, lift us up. Because all that other nonsense and that conversation that you're having is nonsense. It's those imps. You know, it's the imps. No one has time for that. And so we are the women who are going to continue to speak life. And what we're doing on this platform, the rest of that is nonsense. So that's that part. And did you all know that they're going to try to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill? Come on, women.
At last. It's way overdue. They've been trying to do it.
They've been trying to do it for years. And our previous president didn't want that.
Excuses. This wasn't any excuse for it. Because you know why? He wanted to keep that racist Andrew Jackson president on the bill.
Didn't want it.
That's all it was.
It's
That's
moving
all it
forward.
was.
Everything is moving forward.
Everything, just move forward. Get on the train.
Moving
Ride the train.
forward.
Move forward.
Absolutely.
But have you noticed that we as people are smart enough to pick up, just sit and wait. Be patient. There's no need to act ugly and act crazy. Just sit and wait.
Just wait.
In due time.
In due time. That's what I was saying. Be patient and pray.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was just in a room. Racism is still real. And
Very much so.
Blacks are realizing that now you need to be aware because a lot of times for years we used to be against one another. But I think that somewhere in 2020 and even 2021, we realized that we need to stick together more than ever and stop looking at another person more superior than us, Everybody else loves their culture except us, Like I can't say, oh, Peggy, you don't know who Peggy is? Peggy is an African-American woman who runs an organization for well over 16 years.
No, they don't know me.
Oh, whoever this other person is, let's esteem our community. Like, why can't I go to Fred's Fish Bar instead of saying I'm going to go over here to Libby Hills and promote Fred, who has been owning his fish bar for 20 some years? And so that's and we don't even want to own it. We're like, well, his customer service, every time we go there, guess what? You gave the other guy some time to get your order wrong over and over again. And so I am so excited about supporting and doing that year campaign of just supporting Black businesses. Because I support my Chinese, I support my Italians, my Jew, I support you all. But this year it's going to be me supporting the Black community because they really need it. New business.
Really need it. Yes.
So about that. So I'm going to be shouting them out a lot this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what, guys, we can't let this go by and we're going to move on with domestic violence. We got to salute our young people from last week. They did a great job. Dante,
yes. They did an awesome job.
Great job. And
so proud of them.
Yes. And Kayla, they did a great job.
And if you missed the show, go back to Facebook and watch it because it has some wonderful tax information. It was really good.
It was taking it to another level, and I love it. And this is what it's about: our young people educating themselves in their community. So, kudos to you guys. So,
look what your mother said. My daughters. You guys are looking beautiful.
Thank you, Mom.
She said her granddaughter, what about the rest of us?
Having our purple and
Thank you, Mother. We appreciate you. We appreciate you all for supporting us. And like I say, share our page, like our page, tell everybody we are here, and we got it going on. This is what we're trying to do. Shout out to 4Sisters Network. Woo, woo, woo. Yay, ladies on the move too. These ladies are moving it. But no, I was talking about today, switching gears, about our domestic violence. And this is not a joke. We already know it's serious. Back, I would say the 70s and the 80s, President Bush and Reagan, I believe, they were, doing things to try to put this in perspective as far as women and the children, our families who are being abused. So it was George Bush in October. That's how the Domestic Violence Awareness Month came, I think, a year of 1989. So it hasn't been that long.
No, not really.
Not really. When you look at it, about 30-something years since we've been recognizing Domestic Violence Month. And so this is where we are. And it is prevalent that it's happening. Even when I talked about a second ago about the NFL player, and it's been said that in football, this domestic violence rises in the numbers and the statistics go even up, even during the season of football.
Wow.
Yeah. And one to talk about true is the NFL player, what's his name, Chad Wheeler. And we was talking about him and how he choked out his girlfriend.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Literally.
And
dead.
You left her for dead.
On his and that like nothing was wrong.
And then looked at her when he found out that she hasn't, she didn't die or anything, and then said, "Oh, you not dead yet?"
Right. He sat there and was eating his dinner.
He
looked over at her and said, "Oh, you're not dead yet."
You're not dead yet? Like I thought, and he laughed. Like
That's
that right
mental.
there, I felt like she was able to get away.
Oh my goodness.
She could have snapped again and really killed her. So that was nothing but the grace of God in her life. And I'm glad that she recognized
That's
it.
what it was, Charlene. Absolutely. I said the same thing.
And you know what? We look on the health wellness side of that. There are football players that have mental illness from concussions.
They do.
And then this, it happens, unfortunately with that sport because it's such a violent sport, hitting heads constantly. So a lot of times I believe, when these things happen, of course, there's something in the brain wrong.
Yeah.
And there is something that I believe the NFL Association is doing to deal with that now. And they want to take the stigma away from certain things relative to the mental health.
Right.
But it is true, it's real. And we're going to continue to deal with that because it's weird. If you don't take your medication, if you're not seeing your doctors, because guess what happened when thank God she lived. I think her name was Aaliyah. Thank God she lived.
And she
got so many women
to tell the
story, and many other women.
Right. And take pictures of it and have proof. I'm like, do you know how many women that go back? That's another story. I was trust me, I've dated them. And guess what? I see women around, they go right back because of the money, Shout out to the Panthers when we were young and we were in college and you're dating these guys. And then, one of them turned into a murder. Okay. Turn into a murder. But guess what? When we as young women are clout chasing and we get caught up and you decided I'm going to trap you by getting pregnant, you better be careful. You don't know when he's going to snap. And when he said he don't want a kid, oh my God. And you've already seen signs. That could be the young lady.
It's true.
Life because a man had mental issues in the NFL. This was years ago. And right now, the mother lost her life. The kid was born with cerebral palsy. The grandmother had to take this child on. Right, this happened in North Carolina with the Carolina Panther player. He's the right stories about how he was going to kill women. A young African American male that writing stories. His books will be profound. Like at a very good college, matter of fact. But what's going on in their head? And why are we not catching it in the classroom, in the workplace, and even in the NFL? So I'm really excited. I hope that other people are catching this and being able to work with the NFL and other sports agencies that these guys are telling their story. And it happened as childhood trauma.
Absolutely.
It's evident in their writings. English teachers in college pay attention to their writings. These are signs.
There's not enough money out there for you to lose your life over because you're attracted to the money, and then you don't know how to. The money and the attitude and your position of who you are doesn't match. It doesn't even go together. Okay, you would rather have money but no peace.
Yeah, exactly.
Money and violence.
They don't know that.
It doesn't match. It doesn't go together. Be wonderful, but a lot of times it does not. But ladies, I want to bring in our Dr. Buckingham, who also knows about this subject. This is how I met him. I believe some of you all met him. And he's going to come in and talk a little bit about this with us. And then in his Power of 10, this is we're going into our Power of 10 segment. But I want to let everyone know that Dr. Dwayne L. Buckingham is a highly acclaimed international clinical psychotherapist, relationship expert, and life skills consultant. He is the founder of REAL, REAL Horizons Consulting Service, LLC, which provides high-quality cognitive behavior seminars, leadership training, and life skills consulting. Welcome again and again and again, our brother. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you all for having me. Always a pleasure.
Yes, a pleasure having you. Welcome. Talk to us, Dr. Buckingham. You got 10 minutes.
The conversation you all are talking about domestic violence. I've been, again, in this field for 22 years, done therapy with thousands of people. But when I started my consult business, I really focused on African Americans, particularly around this thing. I like what Shirley was just talking about, like money and domestic violence and women chasing men for money. But we all know that they're really not chasing money. But we do know that they're not addressing psychological issues that makes the money look appealing. See, that's the issue. See, that there's something that's going on to why a woman would sacrifice her physical well-being in order to be with someone through finances. So the money is not really the issue. We know that there are some underlying psychological issues. And one of the things I think that happens in domestic violence, which we talk about the individual, but we don't typically talk about the systems that have actually contributed to the trauma that increases the risk for domestic violence. For example, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence says that 45% of Black women and 40% of Black men have experienced intimate partner violence. And what they associate some of that to is our systematic racism things that oppress us from economic, because we do know that money is a stressor that creates and increases violence within the home. So in the Black community, when you have Black men who historically had built their ability to take care of their family based on their economic ability, work, and factor, as we look at our history and we see that the more that you oppress certain demographics, the risk for violence increases. And so these are the things that I think we talk about domestic violence. We don't just look at the two individuals and say, hey, they just need mental health. I think systematically that is the problem. We focus on the individuals and we don't look at the systems that contribute to the stressors and the anxiety and the trauma that individual experiences that increase their risk for domestic violence. Can I get an amen? Because you all got to be getting this, right?
We get it, Dr. Buckingham. You
put it down, yes.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So we talk about domestic violence typically from a clinical lens, and we want to get them into therapy and we want to address them. But the bigger issue to me is, why is this man who beaten this woman filled with so much anger and hate? Why is this woman who's willing to demoralize herself to be with a man who doesn't respect her? And what I can tell you is not just the clinical things that are going on. We really do have to look at the historical systems that had contributed to the trauma of Black people. So this entire month of February, since we're celebrating us, what I am actually doing is I'm actually having a series, and it's going to be called the Black Month the Black Month Trauma Series. So I'm talking about trauma, love, and resiliency. And the reason why I decided to say a Black History Month series that's focusing on trauma, love, and resiliency is because Black people, trauma is what happens to us. Love is what defines us. And resiliency is who we are. It's what we do. We bounce back. But I really want to talk about this in the context of domestic violence, because that trauma piece that we're seeing in our community is rooted in historical trauma, cultural trauma. So let's not just point the finger at the individuals, and let's look at the systems overall. Wow. That's what I'm going to be doing this whole month.
So every Sunday, I believe you're having something the rest of the month?
Every Sunday, I'm going to be doing a different topic every Sunday, starting tomorrow. And it's going to be from 2 to 3:30 p.m. where I'm going to be focusing on various aspects of things that I want to talk about. For example, tomorrow.
Dante, can you show the flyer, please?
I am going to be talking about the topic for tomorrow from 2 to 3:30 p.m. It's going to be I Can't Breathe, understanding cultural trauma, grief, and mourning experienced by African Americans. And the key word here, ladies and gentlemen, is cultural trauma. Not individual trauma, cultural trauma. So tomorrow I'm going to be talking about it. And the good thing about this entire series is that my community, people keep saying, Dr. Buckingham, you're hidden from us. We can't get access to you. Well, I'm doing this every Sunday from 2 to 3:30 p.m. And guess what? It's donation only, which means you can donate 5, 10, whatever you think the value of what you're going to get, you donate. So I made it to where you have no excuses not to show up every Sunday to get some free education. On the 14th, for all you ladies, since we are in February and we have Valentine's approaching, on the 14th, I am going to be presenting on Let's Talk Love, how couples can trauma-proof their relationships and overcome adversity. So on the Valentine's Day, let's get with your boo. Let's sit down and talk about how you can trauma-proof, because as Black people, we're going through a lot. We've been through a lot. Let's make sure we keep these marriages and relationships healthy. Get there and register today for all 4 series. You can donate. It doesn't matter how much.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. So we have no excuse for not being a part of this. Dr. Buckingham, do you have a link that you could share, a website or something, so those who want to be able to participate, they'll know exactly where to go?
Yes, so it's very simple. This is posted on my website, drbuckingham.com, and it's drbuckingham.com. 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 You go to the event tabs. You'll see this exact flyer on that page. Click register. Get it in there before the seats fill up.
Woo! That's the key word. You say fill up because I don't even think you have so many seats available, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm actually limited in this. I think I really always appreciate you all as my sisters for bringing me in. I think sometimes, though, I have to stay prayed up because I think when I deal with Black people on a consistent basis, I have to go through this cycle of explaining hurt, hide, and heal. What I often find is that we hurt and we want to hide behind titles. We want to hide behind the conversations, but we don't really want to do the work to heal. And it is like pulling teeth. And I promise you all, I get so tired sometimes, but I stay prayed up because we talk, and we talk, but I really want to know when we're going to start healing.
Wow.
And Dr. Buckingham, in order to deal, you must heal. That's what I always say. Yeah. You can't deal if you don't heal.
Yes. And problems are manifestation of things that are ignored. I often tell people that. If you want to look at a person and see what their issues are, pay attention to what they ignore in their life. And a lot of Black people ignore our mental health. So how can we actually solve the domestic violence issues in our community when we're truly not dealing with the psychological problems that are present in our community? We have to start healing. We can't hide too much behind these titles. People get these degrees, they get certain statuses, they get certain things, and they want to hide. And I'll tell you, the easiest way to continuously hide is to ignore your hurt and pretend to be happy. The easiest way to hide is to smile in the light and to cry in the dark. The easiest way that you can continue to hide is to cover up your hurt with success and accomplishments and ring that on top. Because we know with domestic violence, the one thing that we know that happens in trauma, domestic violence, is that people become shameful and they hide. Shameful that I'm that woman and I got these degrees, but I'm letting this man beat on me. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to become emotionally numb to what he's doing because I got to look good when I get to work. I'm going to be sad and I'm going to be watchful and I'm going to be anxious of people. These are symptoms I've seen with women who suffer from domestic violence. They're anxious, they're watchful, they're emotionally numb, they suppress emotions so that they can look good. We have to get beyond the surface and start dealing with these issues.
Well, Dr. Buckingham, we could talk to you all day.
Yes,
we know that you are full of information. You are so full of a plethora of information that you can share with us on this topic and so many other things. Anyone who needs your services, please put your phone number out there. Put your phone number out there because women are hurting. Women are going through still, and they are hiding because they're too ashamed to let anyone know that what's going on in the home. So if they want to speak with you in confidence, is there a number?
Yes, it is. Actually, you can just go to the Dr. Buckingham, but the telephone number for my office is 240-280-1008. But again, they can find that on drbuckingham.com. And here's the deal. I'll end with this. I thank you, ladies. Don't call me unless you're ready to do the work. Like literally. My counseling arm of my business is called Real Therapy. And that's the name of it. The real is realistic approach, rational expectations, positive attitude, and unconditional love. So come to me when you're ready to do real work.
Ooh, and on that note, I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Buckingham. Look forward to seeing you at one of these sessions on a Sunday. We're going to commit ourselves to being a part of that.
Yes.
We will have you on again. You know that, right? This is not going to be a last time. Thank you. You continue. Have a great, blessed day.
All right, you all too.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, this is good stuff. This is real. And this is what we need, to talk to a professional.
Did you all look at the Whitney Houston? I'm not Whitney Houston. Lord have mercy.
Wendy Williams.
Wendy Williams.
Look at it yet.
That too. That you're not far off with it.
Oh my goodness. That's exactly. I thought about her, when he was saying that, because once you see her story that they aired, it's amazing that
I thought about the fact that she went through domestic abuse.
It was domestic, right.
Let me tell you something.
Let's clear up one thing about that. Let's clear up one thing. She was never hit by him, and she made that very.
And she made that very clear. She did.
But the emotional abuse and the trauma that he did cause me, that was just like being hit. And I truly understand. And people think that domestic violence, he's going to physically abuse me. But let me tell you something: mental and emotional abuse. Oh, God. That's sabotage. You threaten my career, my mind. Like, that's some tough stuff. That's worse than being, because you really are being hit. You're hitting the heart. You're hitting the head.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, Charlene and ladies, we have 5 areas that you deal with domestic violence. We all know there's physical, you know, there's sexual, there's mental, there's financial. You know, we have these issues where we have all of the areas of domestic abuse. And so he doesn't have to physically hit you. It's mental abuse. It's verbal abuse. Yeah. You know, you have financial issues. She went through all of that. If you watched the story, I saw all of that in there, except the physical. And physical, really, because she kind of like had to slap him around 1 or 2 times to let him throw the phone at him, because it's like, you know, I'm sick of this. But she, even in her story, we talk about stress. Stress, ladies, will cause you, and I felt that she had miscarriages due to possible stress.
I believe that.
1,000%.
I believe that.
Will not. See, that's the ground can produce good fruit because of corruption inside the grounds of our earth. So I totally agree. Bless her.
I totally do.
We have 2 ladies that we're getting ready to bring on, ladies. We've had one has been here before with us, and she has been a great sister to us. And this is Tamika Joy Harris. Joy Harris Russell. Yeah. She's been Joy Russell Harris. Come on in here with all these 3 names, girl.
3 names.
3 names.
We're calling Tamika. Hi, Tamika.
Hi, Tamika.
How are you?
Hi. How you doing, Tamika? I'm good. How are you?
This girl is on the move. She's a singer, a songwriter, and a philanthropist. She's the author and president and founder of a nonprofit organization called Stars Inc. And she's also the director of the Maryland Domestic Violence Rally. She's got a lot going on. She's singing and songwriting and author and speaker. You got it going on, girl. I love it. Always welcome to have you. And we have another sister who's going to join us today. You already know who she is. You've met her. Tamika knows who she is. Shireen Cade. Shireen Cade, ladies and gentlemen. You all made her name will ring a bell. Her name will ring a bell after we see this video. Let's show the video, then I'll introduce her. You ready, Dante? Okay.
This is really hard for me. Really hard for me right now.
Is it hard that whenever you tell the story or when you hear about another victim that's gone through what you went through?
My heart is racing right now because hearing another person go through what I went through, I know exactly how hard it is. I can't explain to anyone. When I try to tell them that I have psychological issues, it's like I have to prove it because I look normal on the outside, but I'm not. I'm damaged for life. I try to get out every day and live, but there's some days that I just don't want to do anything, and I'm in my bed. My hands are like this for life. I normally hide my hands.
You know what, Yvette? To us, you're beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful.
And I used to question that. Like, people, they would walk up to me and say, "You're still beautiful," and I'm like, I'm not. But then I had to agree.
This woman, Yvette, what is your advice to Dana? Show her, Justin, please, the before and after shot of Dana set on fire by a jealous wife. What is your advice to her?
Until I saw this picture, I used to wonder, I would say, why do people keep walking up to me saying you look good? But now I understand, looking at her, she still has all her features. She has her ears. I don't have my ears. She is beautiful. It matters what's on the inside, not the outside. I was worried about, was someone going to love me again? And I'm able to get into relationships with an open mind that not everybody is out to hurt me.
Woo. Why? We can't hear you.
Okay, I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shireen Cade that's on the panel with us right now. Shireen says, as the chief architect of the Vet Cade Fund, I promised myself I would do what was right for my sister and speak out against domestic violence in our community. On October 10, 2005, my sister Yvette Cade's ex-husband went to her place of employment and brutally attacked her. Instead of being quiet, I chose to lift up my voice and defend her when she was defenseless in the burn unit at Washington Hospital Center. It was a pleasure being fully committed to my sister, and I enjoyed working with her. She now heads up her own mission with her daughter. Welcome, Shireen. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here with us and sharing the story of your sister, sharing stories, you and Tamika. Uh, you know, this story, many ladies out there, if you all or men who's joining us, if you knew about this story, remember this story, just, just chat, yes, type in, yes, I remember. This is something that totally just wiped me out. And I think part of what I have been doing, a lot of y'all know I have a domestic violence production and it's called Then Sings My Soul. And I talk about the different issues and subject matters. And one of the things that I brought out in my play, one of the scenes is about a young girl who was burnt by her boyfriend because he was jealous. He was jealous. And so I'm telling you, it's so real and it hurts my heart. And I've always, since my production, have been commissioned. And I think God put me in this position and to be a part of what I am, even with Sisters for Sisters Network, and I'm on the Domestic Violence Committee. God has a plan and that I had not known. And to talk to you today, ladies, is part of that plan. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you for wanting to share with us because this is real. We just talked with Dr. Buckingham. He's part of his organization, REAL, and we're talking real today. So talk to us, ladies. Tamika, tell us what's going on with you, and then we get with you, Shireen, some of the things that you want us to know with your organization.
Well, the Maryland Domestic Violence Rally is, we're pretty new. Of course, like you said earlier, the domestic violence has been very vague in regards to really putting a lot of emphasis on people really doing the work in regards to stopping domestic violence. It's news, really. I mean, 1989 is not long ago. So a lot of work needs to be done. I think it's definitely becoming something that a lot of people are now wanting to really get on top of. So the Maryland Domestic Violence Rally, I was sworn in last year in regards to, appointed really, for that actual, for the state of Maryland. And so our CEO or COO, she's her name is Cynthia Hale, and she is over all of the domestic violence states. And so actually March 6th, we're actually having a discussion and we're looking for more volunteers. We're looking for more directors in different states. Anyone that just wants to be another vessel to really getting on top of this thing so that we can really really bring a head to domestic violence and really stop this thing from just being an everyday thing where we're killing from men to women, and like you said, not even just even killing, but just emotionally, financial. It's so many ways that you can really control a person, and it's violence. It's, you know, you don't have to necessarily physically hit someone, but when you're just being mean and just rude and just really trying to stop someone from being the best them, that's when it's an issue.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Shireen, I want to ask you, tell us about your family. Give us a backdrop of your family and what led this, do you believe, what happened, even with your sister and her ex-husband?
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me. I just want to get that out the way. I just want to thank Sisters for Sisters for giving me the opportunity to tell my family story, because when you're on the national platform, they edit it out, you know, like CNN and when I was on Oprah, and really talking about what my family went through, it is definitely therapy for myself. So and they like to paint us in a light that we're all, you know, monolithic. And that's just not the case. I come from Akron, Ohio. That's Northeast Ohio. And I come from a blue collar background. My father worked in the factories. My grandfathers worked in the factories. And but my father was able to be a mechanical engineer. And what that means is he could work on turbines. He worked in the power plant. He could do a little bit of everything, fix elevators. And my mother, it was in healthcare, thank God, because no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And with her going into the healthcare industry, it was an integral part of my sister being saved. I'll get to that later. So my parents were professionals. They owned their homes. My grandparents owned businesses, entrepreneurs. So we grew up in a stable two-parent family home. Our family church is still there, Prince of Peace Baptist Church in Akron, Ohio, on Garth Avenue. And I had another grandmother. She worked in healthcare. So as African Americans in the United States, we came from a pretty conservative family. And was there a history of domestic violence? Unfortunately, yes. But as I like to say, we grew. My grandmother was born, my great grandmother was born in 1901. The man that she married was an abuser, but she would run into the fields, and people would warn her. So that running spirit of surviving came down and was passed through our bloodline. And that's what gave Yvette the power, not only by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but when her husband went into her place of appointment on October 10, 2005, and set her on fire, he had broke her foot with the boots that he was wearing, but she still got back up and ran, just like my great grandmother would run. My grandmother, unfortunately, experienced domestic violence. And we hear these stories and we laugh because, you know, she survived, but they were serious. My grandmother, I love both of my grandparents, because if it wasn't for my grandfather, he took us out and engaged us in the community. And he was a man, and as he advanced in age, he gave back to the community. My grandfather worked with juvenile delinquents that were males in the system. He worked with the school system to groom young men on how to be a better man and a better father. So even though they had their issues, they still grew. And even my great grandmother, her husband, I never heard of him beating on his children, thank God. And he always wanted better for his children. So in that aspect, I also would just like to push out there that as men or women who are the perpetrators of domestic violence, that does not have to define you. You can stop. You can move forward. And you know, both my parents, my father passed on. He was a deacon and a superintendent at the Sunday school. And my mother's a deaconess. So that's Deacon Hugh Cade Jr. and Deacon Joyce Cade. And it took me a while to come back to the body of Christ, but I would like to tell everybody, I know that is what pushed my sister to get out of the hospital sooner. She was estimated to be in the hospital 6 to 9 months. And I don't take lightly of the fact that she came out in 3 months. And stop me.
But I wanted to ask you, no, it's okay, because we wanted you to definitely tell your story. Want to ask you, and Peggy may have a question, definitely jump in, Tamika. But my question to you, what was the relationship like between your family and your sister's ex-husband? I mean, something led to this. You ought to see any signs. What was the relationship like?
Well, when he was introduced to the family, I briefly moved. Well, what brought us to Maryland from Ohio is the fact that there was no work for people in my age group. My sister is educated; she has a degree, and working through the church, I present well. And so we came down here as young women, coming from a smaller setting. I believe that, you know, I'm better now and she's, you know, better now, that we really, really trusted people. We came from a place where if you said something, we took it at the face value, because we live I have to say, sheltered lives. It's a very small, tight-knit African-American community in Akron, Ohio. And so when we came down here, my sister was introduced to her ex-husband, and I just knew that I thought it would be a good fit because his father came from the military. He was an architect, so he was a educated man. They owned a home. His stepfather was married to his mother, and they had been established in the community for many, many years. So what I drew from it when I first met him was that we have something in common. He comes from a stable home. Even though that was his stepfather, he was raised from a baby up on by his stepfather very early on. And that's what made us remember. Well, unfortunately, they got married at the Justice of the Peace. They did not have a traditional wedding. And even when they got married, no offense to Halloween, but that's not a day that I would get married. They got married on Halloween. So that really that was not a good thing with our family. Because my grandmother comes from like a family of 21, and we are Christians. And that just was like, oh, that doesn't sit well with us. So when I first met him, my sister came to the marriage with a daughter. He came to the marriage with a son. So I thought that was really nice. And they were both the same age. I remember when they told us, I went up to him and I wrapped my arms around that man and I said, welcome to the family. We're glad to have you. And there was other issues that I found out later about color. And I'm like, maybe that's what drew him to my sister. The fact that his mother could pass her white. My sister was very light-skinned as well. And my sister was a go-getter. He was a go-getter. He was working and gainfully employed. And I did not know that he was that kind of man at the time. Were there signs along the way? Yes.
Yes, that's the thing we need to know, because there are some telltale signs. Linda, Charlene, somebody jump in if you all had a question that you want to ask.
Yeah, this is Peg. How is your sister doing today?
Well, she's a fighter, and as we all know, she was set on fire at her job in Clinton, Maryland, and so she's doing fine. You know, is there cracks in our family due from what he did? Yes, and you know, I pray for her and her daughter and her grandchildren, and it is very, very tough on our family. My mother's a senior citizen, and when my sister is not well, she really, you know, my mother takes on a lot, and I hate to see that.
Yeah.
And my relationship with my sister isn't the best because I can't say why, but you know, we have our ups, we have our downs, we have our waves. And what I definitely wanted to say is that even though she survived the initial trauma, back then in 2005, even though it was 2005, there's long-term psychological problems that family members need help
Will
with
always
as
have.
well.
Right.
Yeah, Linda, did you have a question? We have about a minute left.
Well, more so just to ask her, what can you give our audience and young women who are experiencing and not experiencing, what are the signs that you can advise them to and what to do and how to do it when there are signs of domestic or hidden domestic violence?
Tamika, can you answer that? Because I know there's some things that you've seen in what, you know, in your organization and you being out there. Tamika, what would you say to that question? Is she stuck?
She's still.
Okay. Did you hear?
Tamika?
I think
I'm sorry. I had
Did
to
you hear the
unmute.
question?
Yeah.
She can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What was your question again?
What can you share with us to share with the young women who are in our audience? What to do? What signs should they look for, and who should they contact should they be going through a crisis and they don't even realize that they're in crisis?
I definitely think signs, our instincts, we're women, you know, our instincts are more heightened than I would say men when it comes to certain things. We're always skeptical. We always have those natural instincts that give us signs of how, you know, things to look for. If he's abusive, far as, you know, just his mannerism, you know, the way that he speaks to you, if he is putting his hands on you, you know, if he's being controlling when it comes to if you're in a marriage where, you know, he's trying to keep you from money, from escaping, those are different signs that you need to be aware of. And I definitely think first things first is not to be ashamed of those things and to get out and talk to someone, not just someone that's going to just be like, girl, go on and get out of there. You got to get out of there. But someone that's a go-getter that's going to say, hey, let's come up with a plan. Let's figure this thing out. There's so many places of domestic violence crises, the national hotlines that could definitely churches, you know, like Maryland domestic rally, Virginia domestic rally. Is so many that people that can be able to help. So I think just going with that instinct and not just thinking, well, maybe I'll just wait or it wasn't that bad, because it grows. You have to speak up. You got to fight for your life.
Is there
And
a
that's
national
with if you're
number?
single.
Yeah, Peggy has that number. She can scroll it
There
in.
is a
Yeah. Is there a national number that they can
Okay,
call
great.
and keep on them at all times?
Absolutely. Can I ask a question? I know we're about to end here, but I think it's super important.
Yes.
We just had an
Yes.
expert on our stage, which was Dr. Dwayne Buckingham, and which brings me to a concern because I hear the sister, Ms. Shireen, I heard you, and I hear you even now, and I hear other sisters and even brothers out there that people don't realize that when you go through domestic violence, after the situation has happened, the deaths, for your sister, it was the burn. That there are family members that have to be even more sensitive to this level of devastating and trauma that has taken place. But how do we heal the family, and how do we get our families to understand that she was victimized and that she might react to you a lot differently, or he might react to you a lot differently? And I'm talking about the abuse first, and because guys are abused too. Let's focus on the woman. How do we bring our families to gather back around us and say, this happened to me, and that there's going to be some mental issues with this. The trauma is deep, because what about the times that she hasn't told, what happened to her with an ex-boyfriend that demonstrated the same, personalities and all those hidden emotions that's in her to make her feel less than that person. And then her resentment towards the sister or the mother or the grandmother, so many things. How do we help our family circle around us and to be more compassionate about what we have gone through and what we did allow or accept because of us not knowing?
Wow, Charlene, that was a lot, but to the point.
Yeah, that is very, very true in regard, and it's very difficult because there's some people that want to heal, and there's some people that don't want to heal, and it's like you can't make someone not want to heal. So that is the stressful part. That is the part that gets blurry, where a lot it ruins a lot of families. It ruins a lot of people, because a lot of people they don't want to heal. They're content with being an emotional wreck, even though they don't want to consider it as to being an emotional wreck, because they're comfortable. They're comfortable where they're at. They don't want to heal. They don't want to remind themselves of what they had to go through. They don't want to work on to get to the next level. So it is very, very stressful in regards to trying to get to that place. But we got to just keep going. We got to keep praying that they get there.
I have found that many, many women in so many walks of life, domestic violence does not discriminate. No. It doesn't care who you are. You can be an attorney, lawyer, preacher, teacher, bishop, apostle. You can be housewife, whatever your background or status, it does not discriminate. And we have so many women go through a lot of domestic abuse in their homes. And let me just be straight up. It doesn't happen just because it's a man, woman, heterosexual. It doesn't even stop there. So we're going to have a conversation next month about that. Relationships, one-on-one relationships, dating sites, online dating sites. Where does that lead? Sometimes we're going to have that conversation next month, because we got to dig into this. We got to talk about this. We have to ask some questions, and we must be out there, and we got to be upfront about it, because if we don't heal, we can't deal with this situation. So I want to thank you, ladies. I think Shireen, you have a company that we want to let everyone know about your organization. We have that here, Peggy, so that you want to talk to us a second or two about your organization?
Yeah, briefly, it's One Safe Night. And the reason why One Safe Night came about is that I don't have much, but I have I can do the research and provide tools to help families look for information to get out of a domestic violence situation. And that will be my mission, to not only assist victims, but the victim's family, because when I saw my sister's skin melted off and her blood dripping from her face, that was traumatic for me. And I just definitely want to thank you. It's One Safe Night. I just started it in December, but I've been fighting against domestic violence since October 10, 2005. Shireen K. Jackson. Thank you.
Shireen K. Jackson. Thank you so much, Shireen. Someone put out, someone I just saw right quickly said something about signs or no signs, whatever is going on. I believe was said, you must find your place. You got to just leave. You got to go. You can't just stay in a situation. When you see signs that someone hit you once, if they're arguing and acting like they're going to even attempt to hit you, it's going to happen again.
It's
You
gonna
must
happen.
find a secret. Stop keeping your secrets. Too many people, so many women are staying silent because they don't want to hurt their families. They don't want anybody to get involved. They don't want anybody to know. They want to hope and pray that their relationship and their marriage can last. So they're trying to save it for the sake of the children. Whatever the case is, sometimes it's just not worth it. Your life, it means so much more than that. Peggy, did you want say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to really thank Shireen about the point that she talked about family history. It's amazing. Sharing that information can save a life. So I applaud you, Shireen. Continue to do what you're doing. Keep in mind that Sisters for Sisters Network has a domestic violence committee. Wyoming is one of the chair members. I am the officer for that particular committee. So keep us informed, send us the information that we need to know so that we can add value to the conversation. Okay. It doesn't have to be on 4Sisters Live. We can be in your space. Let us add value to what you're doing. And the same thing with Tamika. Tamika, you mentioned your event that's coming up in March. Give us just a little bit more information because we want to participate.
So it's on Eventbrite. If you could go to Eventbrite, and she actually, like I said, it's March 6th. So if you go to Eventbrite, it is the I'm sorry, it's the domestic violence rally panel discussion, and we'll be talking, like I said, more about domestic violence, about how to move forward, about getting more directors and more volunteers to be a part of this whole rally, as we just, from state to state, just unite. From women to men to young girls, we want to be able to reach and touch everyone in every state. So March 6th, it's actually on Facebook. I actually, like I said, my Maryland Domestic Rally is on Facebook as well. You can find it there. You can also find it at just Domestic Violence Rally. And so Cynthia Hale is the person that will be directing that panel.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you, ladies, so much. We want you all to continue to stay safe, and we will have you back again. And continue to keep up the work. Keep on fighting the good fight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
thank you
so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll be in touch. Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
That was just so good. Like
That was great.
That was
I
so
wanted to
great
cry.
information.
I always cry and say, "Oh my God, I'm trying to."
I remember when that happened. Yeah.
Me too.
Just and she stays so strong. She stays so strong. Stays so strong.
You have to be strong in a situation like that.
Yes. So we're going to continue the conversation, ladies. As you know, next month I have something else planned. Just have to, put it together, and then we're going to make it, be something that we all can participate. I want other ladies out there. You're joining us. We want you all to participate because we need each other. And some of you all are out there hurting and don't want anyone to know. But please know that you have a committee of women here that we are here to help you and support you in any way that we can. And we love you and we appreciate you. So we had a great time. Yes. And we want you all to go out there and have a great Super Bowl weekend. Y'all gonna be Super Bowl.
Whatever your team
Who's playing?
Okay, don't go to the
I don't even know who's playing.
Kansas Chief. Kansas Chief.
Who's the teams? I'm sorry.
Kansas Chief and the Buccaneers. I think I don't know. What's it, Dante? I think it's the Kansas
Nobody
Chief.
that I know. So yeah.
I know.
The Skins are not playing, so I don't. I don't.
Right.
The
That's
Cowboys are not playing, so I don't have no reason to watch it.
I have no idea.
Oh well. Anyway,
just pull out the chips and the dip and watch.
Kansas City and Tampa Bay. That's it. Tampa Bay is Buccaneer. I mean, it's Kansas City and Tampa Bay. Yeah.
You know how we used to vote for it? Is it a black coach on either one of those teams?
It was. I think the Indianapolis Colts had a black coach. I want to say.
I don't.
But we did have one. Yeah, say go KC. Sabrina say go KC. It's supposed to snow, so y'all have no other choice. Just stay in and watch the snow come down.
That should be good.
Snow is coming.
I love snow. Yeah.
Yay. So ladies, I love you. You already know that. And what time is it? What time?
But hey, wait a minute.
What?
One other thing. Next health and wellness next week.
Oh yes, health and wellness next week.
So we want everyone to come back, tell your family and your friends that we're going to talk about health and wellness. And we have a special guest. We have a Dr. Lang Rolling all the way from Las Vegas, guys. So we don't want to disappoint him. We want to make sure we tell your family and your friends we're going to be talking. He's a infectious disease doctor. He specializes in so many things, and but most importantly, we're going to be talking about the virus. We're going to be talking about so many things that I'm sure we'll be talking also about the vaccine. So tune in next week for our doctor, Dr. Rawlings.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome, Linda.
It's going to be awesome.
That conversation is going to be about us as African American people. What do we need to do relative to the vaccine and where we are with this COVID-19? He's going to lay it down. I'm telling you, he's going to lay it all down.
Tell your family and your friends.
Ain't no joke.
Tune in.
This doctor going to tell us what's really going on. Yes.
Because I want to know, because I'm not taking a shot. So I definitely want to hear what other shot he got.
Y'all crazy. Okay, gotta go. What time is it?
It's
time
for you to
walk in your purpose and prosperity.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.
Always sisters, always friends. Let's stay real close till the end. Forgiving each other, letting love come. Always sisters, always friends. We have to live in harmony.
Yay.